Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our live video for today. Today we are expecting to be live with the one and only Desire Oparanozie, former Super Eagles captain, and currently plays for Guingamp and Avant Guingamp in France. She should be joining us any moment from now. So her record speaks for herself. Everyone knows her. She's a legend here in Nigeria. A living legend, we should say. She will be our guest for today in our Instagram live. She's given us her word she will be joining us. So we're expecting her anytime from now. Yes, so you can drop your questions for me on my inbox. We'll try and take them in a moment. So I think she is already with us any moment from now. So we're expecting her any moment from now to be with us. That's speaking of Desire Oparanozie, the Super Eagles captain, former Super Eagles captain. So she should be joining us any moment from now. Speaking of her. So Desire Oparanozie currently plays at Flight in French football. One of the best strikers over there in France in the French first division. Uh, but she really came to limelight in 2010 at the FIFA Under 20 World Cup, where she was part of the Nigerian team that got to the final. This that team lost narrowly to Germany in that year's final. So she should be joining us anytime soon now for that video, for that interview with us. So we'll try to get some inspiration from her for her to like tell her how her life started. Uh, how was it for her playing football as a young girl in Nigeria? We'll try to know more about her, her family, and everything about her. She was born in Owerri. She's an Igbo girl to the core. Of course, I know has leadership qualities which we've all admired in the time past. Played around Nigeria a lot before going over to Europe. Bayelsa Queens, Delta Queens, before moving over to Europe in 2012, 2011 to be precise. So we'll learn from her, probably get more inspiration from her, and of course get to know her better. That's the beauty of talking with all our superstars who played in Nigeria before, and also how life has been faring with her over there in the French country, in France to be precise. So Desire Oparanozie, we're expecting her to join us any moment from now to join our live video very soon. Oparanozie won't be any different anytime. We're just waiting for her to come up very soon. She should join us in a few seconds. Just the network playing pranks. And here she is, my favorite striker, number one striker. Desire, good afternoon. Bonjour, comment ça va?
Good afternoon, ça va bien et toi?
Je vais très très bien. Very good to have you. Go back to English before we get our viewers lost. You understand? And maybe later we'll go talk our French together. They roll on our own parole. All right. First of all, fellow, welcome to the show. We're very happy to have you here at Mbada Sports Yan on Wazobia FM on Nicha. To start with, ị ga-asụtụrụ anyị obere Igbo ka anyị makwa na Igbo nwa afọ kenegodo anyị n'Igbo once again.
So ma atụghị Igbo nna ga-amacha ụmụafọ.
Okay, isugo n'Igbo, you don't need to answer again. You don't need to say anything again. Isugo Igbo ready. So that settles it. You know, I had to pull it out from you, you see. Isugo Igbo ready.
I for right from time. I was bred and brought up in Owerri. So
Yes.
I'm Ejima Suibo whenever, anytime. Mostly my dialect to
Anytime, any day.
Owerri.
Okay. Yeah, I know that.
I'm more
Okay.
fluent with Owerri than general Igbo. Igbo is Uwo.
Okay. 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 So how have you been coping with the lockdown? Let's start with that.
It hasn't been easy. It's been 2 months now. A little bit, a few more days to 2 months since we've been on lockdown, and man, it hasn't been easy. You know, when your whole world is, I mean, when your life revolves around a certain thing, and all of a sudden, you know, unexpectedly, they just take all of that away from you and all of that. So it really hasn't been easy. We have to readjust and to get used to the situation and accept it. So it's been difficult. It's been difficult, but it's a matter of life and death. So we don't have any choice than to obey the instructions of the government and health officials, and do our bit to in our only two way, in any way we can contribute until all of this is over, and hopefully sooner than later life can come back to normal.
All right. The aim for us, where they do this interview, not to aspire or inspire most people where they watch us, especially the younger generation.
Hot Toronto,
Me
I
as
dey
a
give you
journalist, okay. For me as a journalist, I did more and I get passion for female footballers because I know what they go through before they get their breakthrough. If you understand what they talk, so try carry us on your journey from when you they start to they play football at your tender age. How was the reception from your family? Because we know say many a times our family is not a too gree make we play ball. Talk less of when it can be wada for that matter. So how was the reception from your family when you start to play ball?
Well, the thing is, it's almost the same for everyone coming from an African home and all of that. I mean, the story has always been the same. How it's mostly our mothers, they won't want you to do sports because they think it's a male dominated sport. As a girl child, I mean, there are things you should do and there are things you shouldn't do and all of that. So, man, it was difficult convincing them at first. My siblings, my mom, they were totally, even my dad they were all against it, but I was stubborn. When I go to play on the street with boys without clothes on and all of that. When after playing, when I come back home, they will beat me, flog me, do all of those things. Yet tomorrow I'll still go again, So all of that. And then at some point, my father was like, okay, since we've been beating her, we've been trying to talk her out of it, but she wouldn't budge. Maybe the best thing to do is to encourage her. So,
Okay.
when the man of the house have spoken, the rest don't. I mean, their words doesn't hold water anymore. So, my father
Yeah.
at some point he was behind me, and that was part of how this came to be and all of that. So, man, I know how it is. I know a lot of young girls out there, not just in Nigeria, Africa generally. The stereotype and everything that has to do with it. I can really imagine what they've been going through and all of that. But my my advice has to be that they shouldn't relent, just like I didn't relent. If I had, said, okay, let me listen to, I'm not saying it's okay to disrespect your parents or not to listen to them, but once you're sure of what you want, you have to like go for it. On the long run, they will see reasons with you, and they will back you up eventually at the end of the day.
Okay, Desire. At what point your parents, they can't know, say, okay, this one no be playing for fun. Say she fits make a living out of football. At what point? Because everybody they get breakthrough points. Maybe your papa they pass, see you, you dribble three players, score, or if it be the day where scouts they come your house. At what point your parents they come pause, say, okay, yeah, boss, this girl maybe her destiny in inside football.
It was there was a point where because I had this I was playing for my secondary school back then, and
Okay.
also there was this amateur team in Owerri as well. So I was playing for them as well. After school, I would go for practice in that other club. So there was this time we had to travel out of Owerri to go and play, and
Okay.
I didn't even know. I didn't have the guts to bring it to my parents to tell them I have to go and play football in another city
And
outside.
travel out for that matter.
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't know how to go about it. So I had my grassroots coach then. He came to the house. I ran away from the house. I wasn't around when he came because I didn't want to be there to witness anything. I was so scared.
Anything.
So yeah, so he came to solicit on my behalf, and my father wasn't around when he came. It was my mom. So according to my coach, he told me his ordeal. He told me how my mom insulted him and all of that. So how my mom insulted him, called him all sorts of names because my mom didn't want me to play and all of that. But I had to, and I kept pushing. I spoke with my father. I even cried and everything. So at the end of the day, my father was like, okay, since your coach took time out to come and see us to get our permission and all of that, maybe we should allow you go. So when my father started giving his consent, he didn't me myself, I didn't even know I was going to make life out of this. But he basically he gave his consent because it's what I wanted. We
Okay.
we don't know where it's leading. We're not sure where it's gonna get to, but for just to make me happy because this is what I want, my father said, okay, you can go. But my mom kept shouting and everything. But at the end of the day, so that was it.
For
So
Igbo
the first
mothers.
time the first time he allowed me leave home was, I think that was the beginning of everything. So after that time, I could now, travel at will
It was
to
easier
play.
to approach
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. To go play and come back. So that was it.
Okay. You've really had a very beautiful career so far playing football. Can you still remember the days leading up to your first contract in a Nigerian club side? Can you tell us what really happened and how did you feel when you were signing your first contract to play for a team in Nigeria, a club side?
Okay. Well, what happened? It was still this same theme I spoke to you about. The Ebonyi state government, they came and they wanted to have a female team because then they had a male team called the Ebonyi Angels. So they
Yeah.
wanted to add a female team to it. So they didn't have the resources to start grooming from scratch and all of that. So they approached this team I was playing for in Imo State. So they reached some sort of agreement. The team, we now had to travel to Ebonyi State. From Ebonyi State, we went there is a competition then amateur to qualify for the pro for the
Pro League. Yeah.
NWPFL. Yeah. So we went. It's the Owerri team, but we went under Ebonyi State. We're representing Ebonyi State. So we
Yeah.
went to Kaduna. We played all the preliminary stage, got to knockout stages, and as God would have it, we qualified to play in the NWPFL. So it was in that
Yeah.
tournament that there were scouts, there were coaches everywhere, and then Coach Rolandson. It was Coach Rolandson Ode. He saw me, and he piqued interest, and that was how we, I got my first Nigerian contract. So I had to move to Bayelsa. So I played for Bayelsa for a couple of years. I played for Bayelsa for a couple of years, and then from Bayelsa I moved to Delta. Then from Delta I left for abroad.
For Europe. Yeah. So how was that feeling in your mind? Getting that first professional contract, because I can imagine the feeling of playing amateur, getting permission from your parents, and all of a sudden they now say you're going to be doing this every day, week in, week out.
I mean, I can't even explain it right then. I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. That's the truth. Honestly,
it was just like pay as you go. You were just like, playing for the fun.
Exactly, just for fun. You know how those kind of play we play when we were kids, like hide and seek, all those cooking play, those kind of. So it was just play for me. I didn't even realize what I was getting into. When the first time I got to Bayelsa, there were likes of Ifeanyi Chedina, God bless her soul. I mean, I was terrified. There were likes of Precious Dede. I mean, those people, I see them on TV, and
ladies now you see on TV.
Honestly, Akudo Sabi, Nkechi Egbe, Ajuma Otache, God bless her soul. These big players, and I'm like, what am I doing here? So anytime I'm on the field with them, man, I'm always scared. I was so small. I'm always scared. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was terrified.
This is getting serious.
Seriously. But then, Coach Rolandson, I mean, I don't know the word to use, but he's like, he groomed me. He groomed me. All of those scares I had, all of those frights, he found a way to, talk me out of it and gave me confidence to believe in myself. And he really helped me to like get to a level where I became vital for the team, So he played a very big role in making me what I am today. So that's it.
Oh, that's very sweet of you, remembering the coaches that played a big role while you were growing up, because we don't hear about that many often. We only see the finished product, but we don't really know how the product became a finished product. Then came 2010, the big year, under 20 Women's World Cup. Do you still remember what happened when you got your first call up to that camp? And yeah, I think that's when that's when it began to settle in your mind that this is becoming more serious.
Yeah,
actually. So how was the feeling you got your call up?
Yeah, before the under 20, I played in the under 17.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't know that. The maiden edition of the under 17 Women World Cup, I was part of it. That was in 2008. It was also all thanks to Coach Rolandson. He also was coaching. He also was part of the coaching crew at the national team then. So it was also thanks to him and all of that. So I got called up, and I was part of that team 2008 under 17. Then there's also another under 20 after the under 17 World Cup. There is an under 20. It was Coach Dan and all of that. He invited me to his under 20 team, but unfortunately that was in Chile. What year? It was the same year, 2008 as well.
Yes, 2008.
Chile, yeah. But I didn't make his team. I didn't make his team. So, but then 2010, lucky enough, I was part of I was part of the team in Germany. You know, it was we didn't even expect to get that far. That I mean,
Yeah.
that team was I mean that was one of the best team we've had in recent time. That team we were more than a team. We were family.
Mm.
We were family. I mean, everything that happened within the team, it stayed in the team. There were no, I mean, there were times we didn't agree on anything, but once we get on the field, you know, once we get on the field, we put every other thing aside, you know, behind us and try to get the job done. So that's how we worked. That's how it was with us then, you know. So it was really amazing being runner up. My first under 20 tournament, we were runner up, and we were we were very happy. You know, it was an achievement, not just for Nigeria but for Africa as a whole. So it was great. It was really great.
And all of a sudden, from not getting media attention during the tournament, you
Yeah,
become
exactly. That
the
reminds
star of
me.
the
You know
team.
how you remember how it all went down. You know, we didn't even know we were gonna go because we were in between.
Yeah.
FIFA is going to ban us. They will not ban us. You know all the drama with the
After the
federation
men's World Cup. Yes.
and everything. So we're like, are they gonna ban us? Are they not going to ban us? So and we even getting into that tournament, we didn't have kits. We had nothing. There was
Not
nothing. And all the attention was on the guys. Nobody even asked us if we're, I mean, this pepper we're selling, are we selling at all? How much? Nobody asked us.
oh,
That's true. Getting into that tournament, it was horrible.
it was something else. It was something
Yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah. Lots of, you
How
know,
much of
trials
an,
and tribulations.
how much of an impact has that tournament had in you as a person going forward into your career? Because, like you said, you guys had nothing. You were just training. You didn't even know whether you were going to play the tournament.
Yeah.
Psychologically, switching from whether you're playing, you're not playing, having kids or not having kids, and then all of a sudden you see yourself playing in the final of the FIFA Women's World Cup. How psychological, how much experience did you carry for the rest of your career?
Well, well, the thing is, it had a very big impact on my career because, you know, when it's as if, you know, the saying that goes, the rejected stone, you know, now
Became the chief
turned
corner.
out to be the cornerstone, yeah, chief cornerstone,
Yeah.
something like that. If it was so bad that even the members of the federation, we could hardly see before we left the shores of Nigeria for that tournament. We didn't. None of them came to check in on us. It was just the coach and James Peter, Coach James
Okay.
Peter, because he was with us then. He was our head of delegation. It was him and just the coach. And, you know, then when we kept going, when we progressed, we got through the group stage, the quarterfinal stage, and then the attention now started coming to us and all of that. And there was one thing he did I liked, Coach James Peter. He made sure we didn't get distracted. You know how our people are now. When you're
Yeah.
succeeding, you know, everybody wants to associate
Get
with you and all of that. So he
associated.
made sure he blocked all of those distractions and, you know, kept us focused and everything. So that has really, you know, taught me a lot that irrespective of what's happening in life, generally it's a roller coaster, you know. Some days are good, some days are bad and all. But in whatever situation you find yourself, just try to make the best of it, you know, make the best of it. Try to, if it's something you can change, do your best to change it. But if you cannot, just you know, roll with it. Try to make something of it. Like they say, when life gives you lemon, you make lemonade of it. So
Yeah.
that's what we did. They didn't ask us how we're doing. They did no encouragement and all of that. But we didn't let it weigh us down. We knew what we wanted. We knew where we're headed. We remained focused, and at the end of the day, we got to the final. I guess that was a reward for all we've had to go through and all of that. So it's really taught me a lot of things in life.
Were you disappointed that you didn't go all the way and winning the tournament?
Of course, we're disappointed. We're, we're disappointed. I mean, we play to win. We play to win. No, nobody gets on the field with the mindset of not winning a game, irrespective of how anyone thinks. Once we get on that field, the objective is to win. But funny enough, it's football. Three things are involved. It's either you win or you lose or you draw. So
Right.
it can go your way today, can go either way tomorrow. So, but just you just have to dust yourself up and learn from it and focus for the next one. So we wished we had won, but you know how it is now. We played against the host nation. We're playing against
It was tough.
we're playing against the spectators. We're playing against the officials. But during big tournaments like this, once you're playing against the host nation, they are the favorites. There's there's politics in football. I mean, they play it the way that it's so silent you won't even know. You that is watching from the outside, you will not know. But FIFA, they know how they do their thing. So once you're playing against the host nation, forget it. They are the favorite, and one way or the other, they will control the game.
Yeah.
So, but as God would have it, we came out second, and it's still something.
It was still a success, in as
Yeah,
much you didn't win the tournament.
yeah, of course.
Okay,
Of course.
Desire, you've been in Europe for a while, and I admire your courage because you've really fought hard to stay in Europe, which is not something that is common for most African players, especially Nigerians. But it seems like finally you found some sort of stability over there in France, in Guingamp. How can you describe your time in Europe so far since 2010 or 11 that you've been there?
No, 2012.
2012,
Well,
yes.
yeah. Well, it's like you said, it hasn't been easy. It's not easy being away from home. Being away from home, being all by yourself in a country where the culture is different, the food is different, the mentality is different, the weather. I mean, all odds are against you. But then you, at the end of the day, you still have something to hold on to. That's your talent. And it's like in business, you have a product and you have a product that your consumers want, So that's basically what has kept me all this while. And judging from, sometimes I get discouraged. It hasn't been rosy. It hasn't been. My first year in Europe, I moved directly to Russia. Russia is the coldest place you can think of. If I had been in yes, if I had been in, let's say, okay, maybe somewhere in maybe if I had started in France, it's not that cold compared to Russia. But I mean, starting from a place like Russia, with the level, with the level of racism, the cold weather, the language, everything, it was. Sometimes maybe during when they're giving instructions, or maybe during pre-match meeting and all of that, the coach will be talking and everything. I won't even understand a thing. One single thing I don't understand.
So how are you coping with the language?
Where 99% of the team speaks the language you don't understand. Sometimes they might even curse you. You're not going to even understand. In my mind, I'd be like, you go to, maybe their body language would tell you, say, these people did insult you, but they'll just be like, that one concerned, I know the else that they do, you know? So stuff like that. But like I said, judging, I mean, when you look back at where you were coming from, you know, you knew what you wanted, you know where you're headed, you know that, okay, this is just a stepping stone for me. There is something greater ahead. There's something, you know, better in waiting for me in front and all of that. So I had my objective was to, you know, keep going higher and higher. And if I can't, maybe if I've gotten to this level and if I can't go further than this, I have to remain here, not fall below it. So that has been my philosophy. That's what I've been working with all these years and all of that. So from Russia, I moved to Germany. From Germany, I went to Turkey. Their league system, I didn't, not their league system, the competitiveness there was below my standard. So I left after 2 months and I came to France. So, and then ever since then, I've been in Europe, and the like you said, what has really kept me going is the fact that I've set a standard for myself. And like I told you, that standard is, if I can't go further, if I can't go above it, I don't want to, you know, fall below it. And I've been working really hard work and dedication, and also the grace of God has really kept me going all these years. And that's basically what has really, you know, kept me here.
Desire, you have a bus stop named after you in Gengang. Seems like they want to colonize you now. It's like you're becoming a fan favorite and a popular person in Gengang. Tell us more about how you got a bus stop named after you.
Okay, the thing is, actually, that's a misconception. You know, that happened after the World Cup.
Yes.
It's actually a train station. But the thing is, it's not just me. It's all the captains of the countries that participated in the World Cup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so all the captains that were at the World Cup, they named each station after the names of the captains. So that's how that thing came about.
Who knows? Who cares? All is that your name is there. How do you feel each time you pass to see your name?
Well, okay, yeah. Yeah, but I still have to like let you know the origin of it and what it's about.
Okay. You must be very proud of you, you know, seeing after all what you've been through, then at the end, at this point in your career, if you're passing through a street, you want to take your train, you see yourself there. But then Gengang has turned out to be some sort of a blessing to you. We see them, they see you more like part of them. And do you also feel like that too? You've also learned the language too, and that means you're beginning to settle down there. How can you say the town of Gengang has really been to you as a person and also as a footballer?
Well, it's been good, because the truth is, if it's not good now, if it's not good, senior man on
You say,
Nazi,
Onazi says you're a star player and you deserve
I
it.
see you, senior player. Well done. Okay, the thing is, yeah, I mean, being here it's really been good, really, because if not, I wouldn't be here this long. For example, I wouldn't be here this long. So it's really been good. I have a good relationship with my team, my colleagues, the staff, and everything. So, and again, being here this long, it feels more like home now, being here. And even during the World Cup, you know, I was so excited. I mean, the excitement was unusual. It was abnormal because of I had this feeling that, oh, I'm playing in my second home. You know, it's as if, I mean, and then having to play against France again. All eyes. I have my friends watch me, my neighbors. You know, I'll have my neighbors watching me, and it felt really good. And I mean, that's
And
what,
Nigeria came so close to getting a
yeah,
result in that
yeah.
game.
Like what I said earlier about FIFA politics, home team, and all of
And the
that.
home team.
Yeah.
So
So
let me assume you guess Nnadozie really saved that penalty and it shouldn't have been retaken.
well, if she had saved it the first time or the second time?
The first time. It
Yeah,
shouldn't have been retaken.
if she has saved it the first time, then it should have, because it's the new rule says you shouldn't step up.
But she didn't save it. It hit the post
entirely. She didn't have any impact on the game, so on the ball. So that's, I didn't understand that, but that's by the way anyway.
That's by the way. Okay,
Yeah.
in a moment I'll come to the Super Falcons because I left that part to the later part. Let's take some of the questions from the fans. One is asking, what's your favorite meal?
That one may be news again now. I like fufu with tofu.
Igbo, you love apple. Do you eat that over there in Gingang, or it's something you eat only when you're in Nigeria?
It's something I eat only when I'm in Owerri, not just when I'm in Nigeria.
To be
when I can only get to eat original of Owerri, when I'm in Owerri, not anywhere else in Nigeria.
Okay, another question here is asking, what's your biggest moment in football?
Biggest moment is playing at the World Cup, being on the world stage. The feeling is amazing. Being on that field, hearing thousands of fans cheer at you when you have the ball, when you're attacking, you just don't get to hear anything. It's just hearing, that sound. I mean, it's amazing. That's the biggest, playing on the biggest stage.
Okay, we have another question here. It says, who's the best player you played with in the Super Falcons?
The best player I've played with a couple of them, but telling me to pick one over another, that's not been fair. But I would say,
let me put you on. Choose your 5-a-side. Super Falcons.
Super Falcon 5-a-side. Okay.
Yes.
I would choose. Do I have to add myself, or I should just choose?
You go add yourself. That star girl you be. You go add yourself.
It don't matter. Sometimes best players they for bench.
Okay. You can choose to put yourself on the bench. No problem.
Okay. The ones I've played, I'll pick from the ones I've played with. I'll 5-a-side. I'll Chamaka in goal. Osinachi Onhale.
Yeah. It's becoming tougher.
Ngozi Okobi in the middle.
Yeah.
Rita and Perpetua.
Oh, you played with Perpetua, yes, in your first AFCON. Yeah. That's true.
That's my 5. Chiamaka in goal, Osinachi defense. Rita will sit in front of OC. Then Okobi and
you Perpetua. And Perpetua will be doing this.
Okobi and Perpetua, I didn't choose myself. I did bench.
Put yourself. Okay, yes, you did bench. Yeah. I guess you have a special bond with that set of 2010 in the Under-20 World Cup. I guess you still talk with most of them, and you're more than friends, more than teammates, if we can say. What was the feeling when you moved from playing for Under-17, Under-20 and now you get a call up for the Super Falcons. Something you were only watching on TV, but now you got your first cap for Super Falcons. Can you still remember your first cap for Super Falcons?
Yeah, you don't forget that kind of thing.
Talk us through what was going through your mind.
Well, it was Coach Uche was the coach then. Eukaria
Yeah,
Uche. That was in 2010.
yeah.
It was a game. It was an away game in Cote d'Ivoire. We were playing against Cote d'Ivoire, so qualifier for something, like maybe
For the
Olympics
AFCON.
or AFCON. I can't remember, but it's a qualifier. So we went to Cote d'Ivoire. I was on the bench, and we were playing. I think we were losing or something. So I was under a lot of pressure. I'm like, we can't win this game. We can't lose this game. I beg your pardon. We can't lose this game. We have to win and all of that. So in my mind, I'm like, Coach, put me now. Put me. Let me go and do something. I was glad being part of the team, and it was a great experience. At the end of the day, I was subbed in. But I didn't make much of a positive impact. But I had my first chance. I had my first chance playing for the Super Falcons, and it was a really good opportunity for me. And
Two Papa said you were beautiful back then with low cut. She's still beautiful now. Now, which one is she was beautiful back then? But then that your low cut that year, self. Okay, but AFCON 2010, ACON, that's African Women's Championship 2010 in South Africa. You seem to be scoring for fun. You and Perpetua. That combination was massive.
Yeah.
It was fun. Did you
Yeah.
know that 10 years down the line, you will be one of the best strikers Nigeria has ever had?
Yeah,
or you were still like you said
no,
at the start of your career?
no. Then at that point, playing alongside, the moment I got into the Falcon team, the whole point was to be a great player, be a better player, So, and playing alongside Perpetua really helped. It really helped me a lot, mindset wise, game wise, finishing wise, and all of that. So the moment I had my first call up with Falcon, had to play alongside big players, Stellan Bacho and all of that. It really changed my mindset. Starting from that day, I wanted to be something more, I wanted to be something more. I wanted to be better and all of that. So, and that has really helped me get to where I am today. And 10 years down the line, I'm still here, top of my game, doing my thing and all of that. So, I just wanna, keep going for as long as my body allows me, and I'll keep giving it my best.
Okay, someone is asking, what's your worst football moment?
Worst moment is I would say well, there are lots of football moments when anytime I lose a game, they are bad moments.
You feel bad?
Yeah. Anytime I lose a game, they are bad moments. But I think the one that outweighs the other is losing in the final, like 2010 when we lost in the final against Germany, and then also 2012 we lost the third place match against Japan. So against Japan, we lost the third place match. That also
you scored a lot of goals in that tournament too. Your second under-20 World Cup against Japan.
Yeah.
Can you still remember vividly what in that tournament? Because that tournament, it was a little bit, why should Desire come again and play under 20 when she had already played there 2 years ago? How was the feeling with that set of players?
Well, it's for, see, it's always an honor, having to represent your country. It's
It
it's a
doesn't matter
great
how many
honor.
times.
It's a great privilege for as long as I am still very much eligible. Why not? I mean, why
Sure.
not? It's an honor. So, and me being in that tournament, I helped my team with the help of the rest of the players. We stayed till the end of the tournament. We played in the third place game and all of that. So, and I don't know. There was this match against Mexico, maybe in the quarterfinal or so. We played 90 minutes, no goal, and we went into
Yeah.
120 minutes. Even during the 90 minutes play, the game was so tough that I was like, I'm tired. I want to go out and all of that. So, but the coach apparently ignored me. So I kept on playing, and then I think it was second extra time. That was when I struck with a header, and then we won that game and all of that. So after the game, coach was like, "You see, I almost removed you." So he was like, "Almost, if I had removed you, if I don't score that goal, oh."
You
Say, coach,
got that goal.
man. So
All right.
so it
That
doesn't, like I said, it doesn't really matter if you're eligible and you're available to represent your country. You should. It's always an honor. I
okay.
don't feel remove my cap, my hair. I just lose my hair in the rough. No vex,
That
I
expression. Okay, Desire.
Mm.
Let's come to the Super Eagles and the World
Super
Cups.
Eagles,
You
I
played
be Super Falcons.
Super Falcons. Sorry, Super Falcons. You played two World Cups. For now, I know there are still
Three,
more to
three,
come. Three,
three. Where
yes,
are you
three,
getting your
three.
facts from?
Sorry, three. No vex. I'm subtracting one from you. Yes, three World Cups. Let's start with the one in Canada. Wow, what a tournament! The first match alone, probably for me, was the best match of that tournament. 3-3 with Sweden. I didn't start well for you. You score own goal. Now, wow. What was going through your mind in that tournament? Yeah, I know you're saying, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What was going through your
Well,
mind in that game?
well, the thing is, a lot of people don't know this about me. I'm a very positive person. Once in any situation I find myself, like if it's a bad situation, I try to make sure it doesn't put me down for a very long time. They said when you drown is when you stay in the water, when you remain in
Hmm.
the water. But once you bring out your head, you won't drown anymore. So that happened, and I I try to not let it affect me, because I know once I am down, the rest of the team will suffer. The rest of the team will suffer. So I picked myself up from it, and I made sure I didn't rub it off on the rest of the team. And I kept on playing. I kept that game was one of my best performance in Super
Yes.
Falcons. One of my best. So, and I even after that goal went in, I kept on playing, kept on disturbing the Swedish defense and all of that. And I'm glad with what I did, and as God would have it, we came out with shared points and all of that. It was a great game, and kudos to my teammates how we handled that.
So, the recent World Cup, you were the captain. I know that was a very big, proud moment for you. You were the captain of the World Cup team, Super Falcons in France. Going into that tournament as being a captain, Uh, how would you rate that tournament? And do you think Falcons would have done better?
Okay. Well, first off, I had the. I mean, I was given the opportunity to lead the team. That was an honor, and um, I'm glad. But then last year's World Cup was, I think, going into that. That was the one of, in fact, not one of that. Nothing comes close to it. That was the best preparation we've had in the history of Super Falcons.
Yeah.
And kudos to the Amaju-led NFF administration. They did marvelous. But then me being the captain, for me, it was more than the armband for me. It was more about leadership. It was more about service. My players comes first before anything else. It was more about their satisfaction, because these are the primary actors. No matter how you look at it, if the players are not in the right frame of mind, if they're not mentally okay, we don't get to perform well. Sometimes we're mentally tired, we're mentally drained, we don't realize it. We think, oh, okay, we can shove it off when we got to get onto the field. But at the end of the day, when you get into the field, you'll be a shadow of yourself without even realizing what's happening to you. Football is psychological. If you understand how these things work, then you know what I'm talking about. So there are a whole lot of things that is involved with football. It's not just about getting on the field and play. If your house is not in order, for example, trust me,
You won't get it.
Exactly. So there are a whole lot of things. There are a whole lot of things that I try to make sure things are good with the players and all of that. But
Did you feel
then again,
disappointed with everything that happened after the World Cup, the strike, the seats in the hotel protest, and also the next qualifiers for the Olympics that came after? It seems like there was a fallout, and some players were not being called back to the team and all that. Did you feel disappointed that people did not really understand you for what you were standing for, and some players of the team, what they really stood out for during the tournament?
well, I won't say I'm not disappointed. I'm not, because I'm even more proud, because I stood for something. I stood for something good, and I'm proud that I was able to do that, even though it's against some other people's belief, the
Yeah.
high and mighty and all of that. So, but that, for me, it's not a problem. I'm proud of what I did, and I made sure, for as long as my players are good, we're not being, we're not being, our rights are not being manipulated or something like that. So, and then what happened afterwards, it's entirely up to them. Actions have consequences. Me,
Sure.
that place is not my father's house. If you feel
Sure.
oh, okay, it's time, she shouldn't come anymore, it's their call. It's the coach's call. And again, I'm very sure there are coaches in Nigeria, for example, or all around the world, that might not like my style of play. And there are other coaches that will like my my style of play. So football is like that.
You're being so diplomatical now. So you
But
believe maybe you're not getting a call up now because they don't like your style of play.
it could be
Oh,
that.
that
But really,
okay.
that
Will
could be it.
you, will you Desire Oparanozie be
Yeah.
willing to return back to the Super Falcons in the future?
Well, I
Mm-hmm.
see. I'm a patriotic Nigerian,
Okay.
but the thing is, when that time comes, there are things I have to consider. There are things I have to put into perspective. If it aligns with what I believe in, then maybe there is a chance. But really, a lot of things have to change. A lot of things have to change.
Hmm.
Seriously.
Okay. It's not a yes, it's not a no. Okay. So let's keep our hopes high. But then I'm sure you are aware that most Nigerians, most Super Falcons lovers, they miss you. And they miss you a lot on the pitch of play.
I I
So
I
maybe
miss them
that's it.
too. I miss them too. I miss them too. But really, that there comes a time in one's life when you have to, stand up for the right thing, and the reason why a lot of things go wrong is because the good people refuse to say anything or do something about it. They'll say,
Yeah.
consign me, no consign me, and then things will keep getting bad and all of that, and then the younger ones will suffer for it, for your refusal to do something when you're there. That's not how it should
Hmm.
be done.
Okay.
So,
Okay, it's time for our Amebo questions. There are people asking Amebo questions online. One is asking, Desire Oparanozie, are you in a relationship or you like to be alone? Mm-hmm.
I'm in a relationship. I'm in a relationship. Will you believe me if I tell you I'm not in a relationship?
Why wouldn't I believe you? It's your relationship. So if you're not in a relationship, I will still understand.
Okay, okay, I am.
Okay. Okay, so the person who is asking the question, your heart has been broken. If you had
Why
aspirations
would the
and
person's
dreams.
heart be broken now? Don't you want don't you want me to be in a relationship? Why will your heart be broken? Be happy for me.
Okay, maybe he had an eye on Desire Oparanozie, but now the heart has been broken. Yeah, sorry for
Oh,
him. Okay, another
oh.
one says, how do your parents now see you now that your football career has advanced?
Well, they are. I mean, they couldn't be
I think
more.
that's a very good question.
Yeah, they couldn't be more proud, really. They are very proud of me. My mom. They now refer to her.
Before let's cut you short, Charity Adure is saying, thanks for being a big sister to Chiamaka Nadozie.
It's my pleasure. Chamaka she's a great girl. She's a good girl. So, like I was saying, I mean, they are very proud. My dad, God bless his soul, before he passed on, yeah, he used to, he used to watch games when I'm playing live and all of that. He will watch them, and then he will also like get me to have the games recorded for him so that he can be watching them at his leisure time, whenever he feels like it. That's how proud my dad is, and my mom also. So my siblings, my sisters, and my brothers, they are all proud of, I mean, how far I've come and everything. So, I mean, who wouldn't be?
Gabriel, you like Amebo. Gabriel is asking, when should we start preparing for Ashebi? Can you imagine? Question.
Don't worry. When it's time, you will know.
You will
When
know.
it's time,
Okay.
you will definitely know.
One question here says,
Then,
do you
thank
have
you,
the
thanks, Bobo.
intention, do you
Say
have the
again.
intention of do you have the intention of becoming a coach after retirement?
Well. Although I mean, I'm not writing that off entirely, but that's not the first thing on my